to our health. In our experiment, we're going to test different water, enhanced or specialized water brands to see if they actually do something for us. Specifically, we're going to test Russell Wilson's brand recovery water that claims to help you recover faster from like concussions and stuff. And additionally, we're going to test Aqua Hydrate, which is water that claims to have a higher pH than 9. And it's supposed to counteract all the acidic things we consume in our lives, like. And between these two water brands, we're going to test it against lemon lime Gatorade, tap water, and distilled water. We are interested in testing these claims because we want to see if they're in fact more beneficial than plain regular water or tap water. And we want to actually know if it's like just another get-rich scheme by these companies. Specifically, we will test for the following compounds: calcium chloride, magnesium chloride, and potassium carbonate, and along with sodium.
Okay. So we are testing for these different ions across the board, even though we assume that distilled water is not going to have any of this in it. We're still just going to test everything. We're splitting it up. So the calcium, we're going to do the atomic absorption on it. And for magnesium, we could only find a titration that will pull out calcium and magnesium. So we're going to do that titration and then subtract the calcium we find from our atomic absorption to find magnesium. For chloride, we're going to do a titration with silver nitrate. Bicarbonate is going to be a titration with hydrochloric acid and then a different indicator. So for sodium, we're going to do the flame portion of atomic absorption. And that's going to be with different dilutions of our sodium. And we're also, because of the pH, we're testing pH before and after we run it through a simulated stomach of 0.1 molar hydrochloric acid.
Okay, and then for our expected results, we kind of think that both the Russell Wilson recovery water and the Aqua Hydrate are going to have false reactions to the claims that it has. So for the Russell Wilson water in specific, we think that the claims with the electrolytes helping the body recover faster and that to help prevent concussions is a little over-exaggerated for bottled water. We do believe that there might be like a similar result with the Gatorade, like it might help you some way like a Gatorade would. But we don't think that like the benefits of the body in themselves are going to change very differently. And then for the Aqua Hydrate, we think that that the pH isn't going to be at 9. We think it might be at a more neutral state. And lastly, we think that the stomach acid will kind of neutralize the basic water as soon as it enters the stomach, so that it's going to be preventing it from really doing anything to our bodies overall.
So are you predicting that there will be like these compounds present, or?
So what, I suppose we should clarify that. When we're talking about like it's going to be beneficial or not, we're going to compare the concentrations that are in the improved water versus regular water in the Gatorade to see.
So are there specific concentrations you're looking for? I mean, like, is there, say, this amount of some electrolyte that has been studied to show this benefit, and that's how you're going up? How do you determine, like, because let's say that the Russell Wilson water has a different level of electrolytes than the Gatorade, does that mean it's better or worse? You know what I mean?
Yeah, so I think we're just going to go with that correlation that it's, because there was a study done by Florida University that the Russell water did help recovery, but what we want to see is the concentration actually that much higher than any other kind of water that you could get?
Okay. And then,
talk about how much it is.
So you can only buy, unless you go to a store, it's only sold in the Seattle for 36 bottles of water,
Hmm.
not including sugar.
You had a follow-up, Ryan?
Yeah, you mentioned that the the basic water basically, is just gonna go into your stomach and kind of neutralize the acidity, But isn't that kind of the point? Like, isn't that sort of what it's supposed to do?
Well, that's what they're claiming that it's going to do, but we don't think it's actually going to do that because there's a different, we don't think it has a buffer capacity, is what we're saying.
Okay.
So instead of the water neutralizing your stomach acid, we think the acid will just make the water acidic. It's not going to.
Okay. No, I see. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, they're claiming that treating your stomach more basic is a good thing, but you need your stomach acid. It needs to not be to a certain point of acidity, but you need that stomach acid to function.
Yeah.
And so isn't it a bad thing when messing with the pH of your body?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I mean, is it actually called Russell Wilson water?
It's
Recovery
recovery water, but Russell Wilson's name is attached to that word.
And also, is it illegal to claim things that this helps you with concussions if there's no proof of that, or does it not matter?
I think there may be some lawsuits pending about it. I don't know.
There might be anecdotal, you know what I mean?
Turns out I'm going to Seattle next week, so just to get them, no, for another reason. But I'm going to acquire some of this, we didn't want to order a case, right? So, yeah. Okay, so one more group will go on.